Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer one of the Java interview questions. That is, write a Java program for printing a Pascal triangle. Let me answer this question with practical demonstration. First of all, what is a Pascal triangle? Each number in the triangle is a sum of the two numbers directly above each. For example, let's take this as a Pascal triangle. If you see this, how many rows are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows are there. Okay. Total 6 rows are there in this Pascal triangle. And in the first row, only number 1 is there. All the borders will be 1 only, guys. Okay. You see in the first row, only one number will be there. And that particular number will be only 1. Okay, in the second row, okay, there will be two numbers, but since they are border numbers, they will be one only. And in the third row, there are three numbers. In the third row, there are three numbers. Okay, the first number will be the border number, so it will be 1. And the second number will be the calculation of the above two numbers. 1 plus 1, it will become 2. And the last number is a border number, it will be 1. In the fourth row, the border number, the first number is a border number, and it is 1. And the second number, total four numbers will be there here in the fourth row. In the first number will be the border number and the last number will be the border number. Second and third number are nothing but the calculation of the above two numbers. That is here above 3, what is there? 1 plus 2. 1 plus 2, 3. This 2 plus 1 is 3, like that. Okay. In the fifth row, total 5 numbers will be there. The border numbers will be 1 and 1 only. And in between the numbers, 3 numbers between that are there, right? They are nothing but the calculation of the above numbers. That is 1 plus 3 is 4. 3 plus 3 is 6. 3 plus 1 is 4, like that. Okay. In the sixth row, we have total 6 numbers. The border numbers, first number and sixth number are 1. And whereas the middle 4 numbers are nothing but the addition of the above two numbers. For example, here 1 plus 4 is 5. 4 plus 6 is 10. 6 plus 4 is 10. 4 plus 1 is 5, like that. Okay. So this is what is a Pascal triangle. If you have to print this Pascal triangle, what is the programming logic you have to write? I'm going to demonstrate that for you. Hope you understood what is a Pascal triangle now. How does it look like and what exactly it is. Now we have to print this kind of Pascal triangle by writing a Java program. You may get this kind of question in the interviews asking you to write this or print this Pascal triangle. So fine, we'll go to the Eclipse ID and create a new class, guys. I'll just create a new class. I'll just name this class as some random name like class 2. Here main method got created. I'll create one more method. That method you can call, okay, by passing the number of rows and it should print the Pascal triangle. Public static void print Pascal triangle. Okay, Pascal triangle. Print Pascal triangle. Spelling mistake is there. I'm just correcting that. Print Pascal triangle. You can give any name. Print. When you call this particular method, I need to call from the main method, and this particular method should print the Pascal triangle. But this particular method should receive the number of rows as an input. How many rows you want the triangle to be printed? Here in this example, there are 6 rows. What if you want 5 rows or 4 rows or 7 rows or 8 rows? That number of rows you have to pass. When calling this method, you have to pass the number of rows. So I'll call this particular method, guys. I'll call this particular method using the method calling statement. For now, I'll pass 5 rows. Okay. I'm passing the number of rows as 5. By taking the number of rows, we have to write the logic here to print this kind of Pascal triangle having the 5 rows. Okay. So how to write this logic? So first of all, you have to create an integer array, 2-dimensional integer array, new int of, here we have to give rows, and here also we have to give rows. Okay. Number of columns is equal to only one column. In the first row, how many columns should be there? In the first row, how many columns are there? 1. The second row, how many columns are there? 2. In the third row, how many columns are there? 3. The fourth row, how many values or columns are there? 4. So here, number of columns is equal to number of rows. That's why in place of the columns also, whatever the row number, that 5 I gave, right? Here 5, 5. That is the size I'm creating. In the first row, there is only one value can be stored. The second row, 2 values can be stored, equal to the number of rows, guys. Okay, if it is in the first row, only one column will be there. The second row, 2 columns will be there. In the third row, 3 columns or 3 values will be there. That's why the number of rows and number of columns is also equal to number of rows here. With this particular size, we are creating this particular array. Now we have to write the logic, guys. For int I is equal to 0, I less than I is equal to 0, I less than rows I'll say, I plus plus I'll say guys, okay, I plus plus I'll say. For int I is equal to 0, I less than rows I plus plus. What will happen here guys? For int I is equal to 0, I less than rows I plus plus, what will happen? The number of rows, it should start from the indexing concept in arrays will start with the index 0, right? That's why I have to give the value of I as 0, okay? And less than rows. 0 less than rows means if I am giving 5 means from 0 to 4. That means 0 to 5 is nothing but 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is total 5 rows, guys. This particular for loop will iterate 5 rows, okay? Now inside this, I'll create one more inner for loop. I'll write the logic like this. For int j is equal to 0, j less than or equal to I, I'll say j plus plus. Why I'm writing j less than or equal to I, I'm going to explain. So in the first row, when I value is 0, okay, in the first row when the value of I is 0, okay, this is the first row when the value of I is 0 is the first row. Here j is equal to 0, 0 less than or equal to 0, okay, and this particular iteration should happen only one time because only one element will be there. So here j also will be 0, 0 less than or equal to 0 will be true, will go inside the for loop, and here we'll print out if, we'll write the logic here. Carefully observe guys, the border elements, you see the border elements are 1, whether it may be starting elements or the ending elements are 1, okay. In this Pascal triangle the border elements are 1, right? The starting elements and ending elements are 1, no matter how many elements are there in this particular rows. Here only 1 is there, only starting and ending is 1 only. Here 2 are there, starting is 1, ending is 1. Here 3 are there, starting is 1, ending is 1. Here 4 are there, first one is 1, fourth one is 1, last element. First element is 1, last element is 1. First element is 1, last element is 1. To make that happen, I have to write the logic like this. If that is a first element, if j equal to double equal to 0, if j is equal to 0 means that's the first column. Here j stands for column guys, I stands for row, j stands for column, let's assume that, okay. First column is 0. If the first column is 0, okay, if the first column is 0, right, that's the in the first row, first column is 0, that means it's the first column basically, okay. Or if it is the last column, when can we say it's the last column? When j becomes I, it's the last column. J double equal to I. In the first row only one element can be there, in the second row two elements, okay. That means this iteration column should go up to only value of I, okay. In the first row only one value will be there, so maximum number of columns can be I only, 0 to I, less than or equal to I, okay. The number of iterations this particular for loop should iterate is, for every column, for every row, that many number of columns will be there, okay. In the first row one column will be there, in second row two columns will be there. That's why I gave the logic like this. In the second row I will be 1, j is equal to 0, j less than or equal to 1, 0 less than, and that means 0 and 1, two iterations. The for loop will go with two iterations in the second row. In the third iteration, this for loop will go, inner for loop will go 3 columns. In the fourth iteration, inner for loop will go four columns, okay, like that and so on, okay. Depends on number of columns. If the value of j is equal to 0 or j is equal to 1, that means these are the border elements, first element and last element, that we can assume. In that case, the value of that particular variable should be what? The value of that particular array should be what? Int of I j is equal to 1. The border element should be 1. So I'm giving the logic like this. Else I'll write down. Else, if it is not the border elements, then we have to be careful. Okay, then we have to be careful. We have to give the elements AR of ij here also. Else, if it is not border elements, then we have to calculate like this, AR of I minus 1. Why I'm saying AR of I minus 1 here? I'll tell you. Okay. For example, you take this particular number 3 here. The fourth row, 3 number you take. Okay. So this is nothing but I is equal to 0, I is equal to 1, I is equal to 2, I is equal to 3. When I is equal to 3, when I is equal to 3, what we are doing, guys? That is when I is equal to 3, here I am writing AR of I minus 1. That is 3 minus 1 means 2. Okay. Here I is equal to 3. I'm going to 2 here. Okay. By writing like this, I'm going to 2. And here I'm going to write j minus 1 also. Okay. J minus 1 also. Why I'm writing j minus 1? Because I want to get this value 1, guys. Okay. For getting this particular 3 here, for getting this particular number 3 here, I want to get this 1. That's why I have to reduce the value of I, row number by 1, and this column is second column. I want to go to the first column. Okay, I want to go to the first column. So I'll give I j minus 1. Okay, plus I'll write AR of again I minus 1, again the previous row only, again the previous row only. This time I want the second column only. That's why I'll not write j minus 1, I'll write j here. If I write like this, how this 3 will be coming? When I is 0, 1, 2, 3, I minus 1 will become 2 here. Here of that means second row. Sorry, if this is fourth row, we'll go to third row. In the third row, we want to get the first element, that is I minus 1, j minus 1, sorry. If this particular thing is j is equal to 0, 1, then j minus 1 is 0. So 0 will be taken, 1 will be taken, and in the other part here of I minus 1 is this third row only. In that, j means j means what? Here j is equal to 1, here j is equal to 1 is nothing but 2. 1 plus 2 is how much? 3. 3 will be created here. 3 will be created. This is how we have to write this particular logic, guys. You see, we already know that each number in the Pascal triangle is the sum of the two numbers directly above it. Here, for how 3 is coming in this fourth row, in the second column, which is a combination of the above two numbers. To get this addition happening, we have to write this kind of logic, guys. Try to evaluate this logic. If you are able to understand, we have to go to the previous row. In that previous row, the current column number minus 1, current column number. Okay, current column number minus 1 and current column. So these two values will be added, and the resultant value 3 will be stored into the this particular position. This particular position. That's what we are trying to do. This is what we generally do, guys. Is a logic. Now let's print it out. Let's print it out, guys. Let's print out this array. System.out.println. System.i.println. Instead of println, I'll print this. Okay. In the inner for loop, we'll get the value of this AR of ij, right? I'll just write like this. And when I print like this, what is happening? Let's see. All the values will be printed in a single line, guys. All the values will be printed in a single line. You see, are you getting a Pascal triangle? No. So what I have to do is, after printing this one here, I want to give a space, guys. I want to give a space. I'll just give a space like this. Run this code again. Right click, run as Java application. Here one will come, and then space will come. Again one will come, again space will come, again one will come, space will come, 1, 2, 1. Like this is coming. That's but okay. But after the columns are completed in every row, before going to the next row, I want to go to the new line. Okay, this will make the difference, guys. Okay, by writing println statement here. Now you see, you'll get a near format of Pascal triangle here. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1. You see, 1 plus 1 is 2. Borders are 1. Okay, 1 plus 2 is 3, 2 plus 1 is 3, border is 1. 1 plus 3 is 4, 3 plus 3 is 6, 3 plus 1 is 4, border is 1. Like that. How many columns, how many things you give here? Just give 6 here. For example, if you write 6 here, run this code, 6 rows will come. 6 rows. You'll get a bigger Pascal triangle. Okay, you see, 1 plus 4 is 5, 4 plus 6 is 10, 6 plus 4 is 10, 4 plus 1 is 5, and the border is 1. Okay, like this, guys. Okay, but I want some leading spaces, guys. How many leading spaces I want? The first row, I want total number of rows are how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here I want 5 leading spaces. Okay, so that this will, if this particular number has to come into middle like this. Okay, you see here in this Pascal triangle, you can see that, right? 1 is in the center. It's not on the left side. I want to make that happen. So I should not be printing like this. So for that to happen, I'll remove these print statements, guys. I don't want to print the Pascal triangle like this. Okay. What I want to do here is, in order to get the printing done properly, in order to make the printing done properly, after these particular elements are stored into the array, okay, after these particular elements are stored into the array as per the Pascal format, I'll create one more array for int I is equal to 0. Again, I less than, for getting the leading spaces here and for organizing these numbers in a proper Pascal triangle format. Okay, this is left aligned. I want it center aligned. Okay, exactly this way I want the output to be. Okay, that's the reason I'm writing this for getting the leading spaces. I'm writing this code instead of printing using this for loop. I'm getting something like this: I less than rows I plus plus for int j. Instead of j, I'll say k is equal to 0, k less than you see, if the number of rows are 5, if the number of rows are 5, how many leading spaces I want in the first row. If the number of spaces are, if the number of rows are 5, or if the number of rows are 6, how many leading spaces I want in the first row? I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If the number of rows are 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, here number of leading spaces should be 5. Okay. For that to happen, I'll write the logic like this. For k is equal to 0, k less than rows minus I minus 1. Current value of I is 0. Rows is 5. 5 minus I is how much? 0. Minus 1 is how much? 5, rows is, how many I'm passing here? Rows is 6. 6 minus 0 minus 1. 5 row. 5. Okay. 5 leading spaces I want. Okay. For printing the leading spaces, before printing this value 1, I'm writing this logic here, guys. Now system.out.println, instead of println, I'm writing the normal print statement, guys, because we should not go to the new line after printing the space here. How many spaces will be printed, guys? Total 5 spaces will be printed. Okay. When I is equal to 0, here, when I is equal to 0, in the first row, when I is equal to 0 in the first row, depending on the number of rows, 6 minus 1, that is total 5. Total 5 spaces will be printed in the first row. Only one column will be there, but 5 leading spaces will be there. We don't have to worry about the trailing spaces. You see, before this one, before in the first row, before this one, 5 leading spaces should come. 5 space, 1 should come. Okay, that's my intention in the first row. Okay, in the second row, 4 leading spaces should come. In the third row, 3 leading spaces. The fourth row, 2 leading spaces. Fifth row, 1 leading space. Sixth row, 0 leading spaces. That's what is my intention. Okay. Now I'll write the logic like this. Okay. Now I'll write the logic right. After writing like this, I'll write for int j is equal to 0. Same logic you have to write, guys. Same logic you have to write. J is equal to 0. J less than or equal to I. J plus plus. Write the logic here. J is equal to 0, j less. Okay. Now write down system.out.println AR of, here we don't have to write if else blocks. Already the values are stored, guys. Okay. In the previous for loop, the values are already stored. Here you don't have to write if else blocks and all. Normal for loop, we have to iterate through the array. Okay. For that normal print statement, I'll write after the spaces in the same line, AR of ij will be printed. AR of ij will be printed, and after the ij, one space will be given. Okay. Just for the sake, because between the element spaces should be there. At the end of this for loop, at the end of this inner for loop, println statement will be there, so that for every row we'll go to the new line. By writing this extra logic, instead of printing the Pascal triangle in this format, we can add some leading spaces so that Pascal triangle looks similar to whatever I have displayed here. Okay. Run this code now. With this logic, it should work. Hopefully it should work, guys. Run this code and see whether you see 1, 1, 1. 1 plus 1 is 2 is coming here. Again 1, 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. 2 plus 1 is 3. Here 1, 1. Here 1 plus 3 is 4. 3 plus 3 is 6. 3 plus 1 is 4. Here 1, 1. Here 1 plus 4 is 5. 4 plus 6 is 10. 6 plus 4 is 10. 4 plus 1 is 5. And borders 1. And also you see here we are getting 5 leading spaces. Here we are getting 4 leading spaces. Here we are getting 3 leading spaces. Here we are getting 2 leading spaces, 1 leading space, 0 leading space. Okay. How to do that? Here we cannot do the write the logic in the same for loop. Again, we have to recreate the for loop, and by writing this extra thing, we can add the leading spaces here in the same. I'm not using println, I'm using print here. Here also I'm using print, and after every element I'm adding a space. And at the end of the for loop, I'm adding println before going to the new row. By writing this extra logic, the formatting can be done properly, guys. This kind of Pascal triangle, expected Pascal triangle will come. No matter how many rows you give 9 rows, a very big number will come. Big triangle will come, guys. You see 1 plus 7 is equal to 8, 7 plus 21 is equal to 28. You see, it's working fine. Okay. No matter how much big Pascal triangle you want, you can create. Okay. Up to your requirement. Okay. We can create. Guys, if you want to practice this program, you can take the screenshot of this code, guys. Okay. You can practice this program. So I'm just stopping for a while so that you can take a screenshot of this code so that you can practice this program and try to understand how to print the Pascal triangle by yourself. Okay. So hope, guys, you have taken the screenshot of this particular program. This is the program. And here I'll do one thing. I'll also provide the code here. May not look good, but that's okay. I'm just giving a version of code here. So it's kind of very lengthy. That's okay. I'll do one thing. I'll just try to make it big so that If any issues are there, they will go away. Yeah, this looks good for me now. This is a program, guys. Okay, you have taken the screenshot. Also, I'm providing as part of the notes. You can take it from anywhere. Fine. Okay, guys. So, hope guys, with practical demonstration and theoretical explanation of what Pascal triangle is, and with a detailed practical demonstration of this Pascal triangle, how to print a Pascal triangle program with including the formatting, the lead, adding the leading spaces, and all I covered in this session. So that's all for this session, guys. Hope you have understood the answer for this question, and you'll be able to answer the question in the interviews. So that's all for this session. See you in the next session. Thank you. Bye bye.